I think one way that we could do that is by passage of the fair ordinance. That is the main way that we can do it right now. I think that the students need to realize that we do support them, here in our community, that nobody should be discriminated against, in their public accommodations, in housing, whatever. But I also think there needs to be a dialogue, that takes place where maybe a committee could be formed of not only students, but also Berea residents and maybe some city staff, where we can actually hear the concerns of the students, and how we can all interact together, and really be a diverse community, because we are all different, there's, like you said, Muslims, Jews, there's all different kinds of groups that are represented.
Thank you.
Well, I guess I meet about as many students as average when in my cabs, because I transport about 30 or 40 a day. And we get along fine. They tell me where they're from and what they need, and if they need something, the Greyhound bus station, my wife and I own with a cab. I've took them to the college when they come in with no money, with a lot of luggage or raining. And I've found that most of them are super good kids. I can say kids because I'm an old man. But I think they do a super job in the community, and we need to work closer with them to make sure that they understand Berea and the surrounding areas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Someone mentioned the town-gown relationship. I think that we get both sides of that can bring more energy to the table to create more opportunities that are shared by the college and by the community. There are things on campus that are open that we don't attend, that people in town, there may be events that students are not aware of. So I think that we have a long way to go to reach across the divide on both sides. I think that we need to also, as someone has pointed out, provide opportunities for students that would encourage them to stay. Because as we have said, we have wonderful students that would really make good sort of permanent citizens when they graduate.
Thank you.
Well, our students are the future. That's who's going to run the country and take care of business. I respect them and appreciate them. I would like to see them come to the council meetings more and get more involved and not just on one issue. Come to the council meetings and state what, the opinion. And that's a good way to get involved, because you all are the future. You all, that's where it's going to be.
Thank you.
I guess I'm not really sure what you're asking for. I think that most of the students are more involved. The college takes more care of that than I always thought they did. They have a good student body. They have people that are over the labor, over the students. From what I can tell, they handle most of the stuff within the college. As far as the city and the city council, they've always worked well with the college and with the students and with the crosswalks, the parking places along the crosswalks, and make sure the students are safe as possible. We've even went as far out as we can since I've been on the city council, is trying to get another crosswalk or overhead crosswalk and make sure they have somewhere to cross that's safe. And the people in town sit and wait for somebody that's way off to run across the road. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, but I know so far we work very well with them, I think.
Thank you.
I'm Phil, by the way. What was your name?
My name is Corey.
Corey.
I'm actually from Boaz, Alabama. So,
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a student here that's come a long way. So,
Well, the reason I asked that question was not only because I wanted to know what your name was, but also just to make the point that the students, we keep talking about the students and using pronouns like them, and as if they're this strange block of people that are somehow isolated. My encouragement to the students would be, you're citizens. If you're registered to vote, you're a voter. You're not a student, you're a voter. And you're a citizen of Berea when you're living here. And so my response to, how would I reach out to you, or how would I want to communicate you? You're no different than every other citizen here. I mean, through social media, through picking up the phone and calling me. However, any of these other citizens would communicate with the council and with me personally, I would encourage you to do that and be a citizen.
Thank you.
think that, like Denise said, I would be really interested if I were on city council to have more conversations with Berea College students to hear what their needs and desires were for our town. I think when I was a student, Berea College itself seemed kind of isolated or insulated from the city. And so I think sometimes when you live in that bubble, it's hard to really think about the outside, except for at events like this or, you know, important things. So I think furthering that relationship could be very beneficial for both parties. One concrete thing that I'm thinking of personally that would benefit all citizens and especially Berea College students is increasing the bike lanes and making our town easier to get around on foot and by bike. I think that that's something that wouldn't just benefit Berea College students, but not just bike trails. I think bike trails are great, but we need to be able to get to the grocery store and to our jobs by bike, and I think that would also benefit Berea College students.
Thank you.
I feel so fortunate that this is just second nature to me. This week I had the opportunity to sit in and speak to 3 different classes of students. I'm currently mentoring at any given time about 3 students regarding the nonprofit industry. I work so closely with student government and have always. I run a regional rape crisis center, and the issues of sexual violence that are prevalent on campus are very serious and critical, and I work closely with Berea College students routinely to address those issues. I think City Council could perhaps lead by example in joining the students more and not, as Phil said, not looking at them as this homogenous block of individuals, but really participating and being involved and hearing what the actual concerns and issues are that affect and impact them every day. And they may look very different from what you and I are used to being out of college, and I've been told to stop.
Thank you.
I'm going to say that really, I'd like to see y'all come to city council or call us. I mean, we'll talk to you. I mean, I was just sitting there thinking back when I was in high school, I mean, we mixed with college students in town. Since I got older and got jobs, we don't have time to do that. Maybe it's because of age or something, I don't know. But I wish you would, because I think that would help, that communication. And I promise you that I'll stop at the crosswalk.
Well, I totally agree with Ronnie on that. But being on city council, you're dealing with more than one issue. We're dealing with lots of issues. And sometimes we don't get much sleep. There's lots of issues: water, fairness, alcohol, budget. And so we can't anticipate what you might want. That's what Ronnie was saying. Y'all come to us, everybody else in town comes if they have a problem with speeding or the neighborhood is unsafe or whatever. And so it just goes back to the communication part. We're awfully busy to where we can't anticipate, and we need to know, and you need to tell us.
I think that President Roloff's statement in the paper about the diversity that Berea colleges try to encourage and how it has profited the college, and knowing what I do about from the nonprofit world, as well as from major corporations which have done more than just tolerate and allow diversity, but to encourage and value diversity, that is the key to a strong team and a successful operation. And so I place a high value on that.
Thank you.
You're going to get treated like another citizen. You're going to get services, projects, and financial integrity. You're going to get water, electric, and sewer service, whether you value those or not. You're going to get a safe apartment, perhaps, to rent because of our codes office. You're going to have the Indian Fort Trail because it's one of the city projects. You're going to have the planning that our police department did earlier this year in the active shooter incident that was planned out for Berea College because it has to do with your long-term safety. The ladder truck is stationed at City Hall precisely because the college has the science building and the three-story dormitories. You have that fire protection. And the Art Accelerator program is a pilot project designed to try to tap into getting some of these technical, specialized graduating artists into, and so that's a variety.
The mayor makes all really good points, and that you're going to get all the normal services. But what I think, it hasn't been that long since I was a college student. And what I realize is that college students have very little time to think about much other than trying to go to class and doing well. So what I think is important is to go to games, to go to events, to go to concerts, and to be a part of your community because you're a part of our community. And what I find very important is recognizing that and going the extra step and then hoping that you in turn as a student are active in your city so that you stay here and you make us a prosperous city. Thank you.
Yeah, the role I see that city government needs to play is the infrastructure, and looks like they've done a pretty good job. You got good sidewalks and you got safe crossing. And I like to go back to what I was talking about, all the issues. I'd like to see y'all help us in selecting and getting good candidates to lead us into the future.
Thank you.
Well, I think everything pretty much has been covered. Steve did a real good job of outlining city services that are provided to Berea College students. One thing I would like to stress, I think, is communication. Maybe better communication with the students and with the community and the council per se. I like Denise's idea of maybe a committee composed of students and maybe city officials and townspeople that could open up some avenues for communication and better understanding among the groups. I think that we communicate pretty well, though, really and truly. My foreign student really likes Southern cooking, although he's from Nepal and it's very foreign to him. But I think that you're a very integral part of our community.